This presentation is on school access in Italy and Spain. My name is Alan Posey. This presentation will discuss current issues affecting education in the countries of Italy and Spain. These issues are presented based on the compulsory education laws of each of these countries. Italy is currently dealing with a massive immigration issue, and Spain is dealing with recently passed education laws. In 2013, I'll examine how each issue is currently affecting the educational trends in each of these countries. First, it's important to understand what compulsory education is. And it's basically the legally required period of time that children are expected to attend school. For example, in California, students are, by law, they have to attend school from the age of 6 until they're 18 years old. And a lot of people don't know that kindergarten isn't required. Students can come in at 6 years old and start in first grade, but most students start in kindergarten. Okay, in Italy, compulsory education consists of, first off, it's free, like it is in the United States. Education is free for a certain period of time, and that begins at the age of 6, just like the United States. However, it ends at the age of 19. Now, at the age of 14, when you're in Italy, you have 2 routes you can go. One of them is the academic route, and that will cover you till you're 19 years old and maybe the first year or so of college or university for free. And if you're not on the academic route at 14 years old, you can switch to the vocational route, which is more like learning a trade or learning some skill that can help you get a job. And there's different things. You can go actually as short as until you're 17 years old if you go the vocational route. Or you can get a little bit more technical and go until you're 19 years old on the vocational route. Both of those routes would cover you till 19, depending on the path that you take. Okay, now one of the current issues in Italy is a kind of a political crisis involving migrants and refugees from third world countries to Europe as a whole. But they're beginning to severely tax the public education system of Italy. And you can see in the year 2015 that there's a huge increase in the amount of migrants and refugees in Italy. And the schools are having to deal with this, with a lot of students coming that are poor, that don't speak the Italian language, and have a different value system. So one of the main issues with the migrant problem in Italy is that the Italians have to find room and they have to pay for all the school-age students. And that's a huge amount of money that they're going to have to pay now because of the current crisis, but also going through into the future. It's a large increase in their population. Also, the teachers and school personnel have to adapt to dealing with the language and the culture of these new students, which come from many different places, and many of them don't have a lot of money and they have different value systems there. And also, is this going to cause the Italian citizens to seek private schooling for their students? In Spain, if we looked at the compulsory education laws there, education is also free, and it begins at the age of 6, but it ends at the age of 16. So if you're 16 years old in Spain, you don't have to go to school anymore if you choose not to. However, you do get a free education up until the point of 18 if you choose to do so. Now, Spain, if you ask about they're really close to Africa, to Morocco. Do they have migrant issues? And surprisingly, they don't. Because despite being 6 miles from Morocco, Spain experiences currently in the last year or two less than 200 migrants from Africa per year. And that's due to agreements that they have with Morocco, security forces that they're able to keep in Morocco. They also have an advanced detection method, radar and different electronic methods to detect boats that are leaving from Morocco, and they're able to intercept those early and keep them out of Spain. So obviously they have very strict security issues. However, even as close as 2006, there was over 40,000 migrants coming from Africa, but because of these methods, they were able to cut that down drastically. Now, Spain does have education issues, although they don't have currently a migrant or a refugee issue. And one of the issues is in 2013, the Ministry of Education passed an organic law of education, LOMSI, which seeks to address the high dropout rate of Spain. They were experiencing a dropout rate of 1 out of 4 students, 25%. And the average in the European Union was 13% at the time, so it was almost double that. One of the issues of this law is that it requires new textbooks every single year if one of the texts was changed. And the textbook companies have caught on to that, and they know that this is going to happen, so they change the book a little bit, and the local school districts and the areas are required to buy new textbooks, which is millions and millions and millions of dollars every year. The teaching unions don't like that. Obviously, the parents don't like that because the schools are having to divert money to textbooks. The other issue they have is they have an extreme emphasis on standardized testing. At every different path that you can take in Spain in education, there's tests that determine whether or not you're going to go the vocational route. If you do bad on some of these tests, you can get pigeonholed into having a career path that maybe you don't envision yourself, or you don't have the opportunity to go a little bit further and go into university or to go into college. And obviously, teaching unions don't like that because it creates less jobs if students are going out of school earlier in an easy vocational route. And if you think about it, in conclusion, if you compare both these countries to the United States, Italy dealing with a massive migration issue currently, the United States has dealt with one over the last 20 years, maybe 10 years ago, is at a peak with people coming south of the border from Mexico to the United States. Schools have had to change a lot and deal with students, different population that doesn't speak English, and districts and states have had to spend a lot of money in federal dollars. If you compare the United States to Spain, dealing with their 2013 passed laws in Spain, the LOMSI, you can compare that with the United States, having to deal with No Child Left Behind, and the current reauthorization of that by President Obama last December. There's a lot of issues with that, and there's a lot of issues with states having to adopt Common Core and parents being happy or not being happy about that, just like they do in Spain. So all three countries have similar issues, but they're each unique in the way that they handle them. And these are the references for my movie. And if you look in the comments at the bottom of the video, it'll link to the Google Slides presentation where you can view it as a presentation without my narration. Thank you.